Hey guys, today we got a very juicy, valuable, very simple yet like important concept we want to talk about, right? So it's about flop c-bet strategy out of position. The last time we did the in position one, now we're doing for the out of position one. I think many new players struggle with this a lot, so I'm gonna help you out with this very simple and in-depth video. So discover how to navigate tricky flop situation when you're out of position, avoid costly mistake, and maximize your win rate with this simplified blueprint. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, so when you're out of position, right, you want to check often when you're out of position. It's even fine to play like a maybe like a 60% check out of position, but most of the time you want to check like 50% of your hands, right? But if you want to check your entire range, I think it's fine to play like a check raise strategy or a check call strategy. I think it's fine, but it depends on like specific board, right? So in baseline you want to keep it like 50% like of your hands you're gonna be checking. You're not gonna see bet like all the boards, but some favorable boards like a king high boards, queen high, you want to bet more. And many people think like the ace high board, when you hit the ace high board like a7 3, if you're out of position or you 3-bet out of position, you need to c-bet. Actually there are many more checks than c-bet in this board, but if you c-bet you probably go for a small size like a quarter or even 1/3 or 20%. So yeah, so check often when out of position without equity, because you are in a positional disadvantage. So acting first put you at a strategic disadvantage, so don't compound it with poor betting. So example like you 3-bet or you raise and somebody cold call behind and you got no equity, like it's like you really got no equity. So example like a board or 10-8-3 monotone or two-tone, doesn't matter, right? And you have the hand like ace5 suited, right? Because I don't think you raise the offsuit one, the ace5 suited, but you don't have a draw or nothing. Like example it's like a 10-9-3 rainbow, and you have a ace5 suited. Maybe if you have backdoor you can consider, but let's say you don't have backdoor and you fire like a size, it's like gonna waste money, because all the size that you fire is gonna be like very bad. Because if you fire small, he's gonna float you or he gonna raise you. If you fire medium and when he call you he has a high drawing hand or he has something that beat you, and if you fire big, I mean this time if he fold, right, but the times that you get called you're gonna lose money, because how are you gonna evaluate the turn, right? So we can just check for this spot and simplify it. Yeah, many people have this habit, right? They c-bet every time they raise. So this leak chip, when you lack equity, like they have this auto c-bet, they just mindlessly c-bet out. But no, you don't have to do that. We can check call, even like a hand like a ace king, ace queen, we can check sometime, see if it's sizing. If it goes to a small, we can check call then, or check raise with backdoor, or we can fold those hands. We don't need to like mindlessly c-bet, right? So checking preserve your stack. When you miss, it keeps pot size manageable. Yeah, that's right. And you can sometimes you even have strong hand as a check raise value. So you checking doesn't mean you got nothing, it's just you protect your checking range. Especially board they are not good for you, like number board, you mostly want to check even your overpair at some, you're gonna check a lot of the time your overpair at that frequency though. So it's not weakness when you check. So we go to the next slide. Yeah, so as I said, don't keep betting with eddies, like similar to what I said just now. Like I mean, ignore the picture here, right? Obviously if it's this board you have a7, you got something, right? But ignore this board, right? So imagine you have a7, right, and you raise on the cutoff, right? Somebody call you on the button and the flop is like king 5-3. I mean king 5-3 you can go for a small size, is fine. Like you have like ace high, you can fall out some like overcuts. But I'm saying like example is like a 10-9 10-9-8, right? Okay, no, 10-9-8 is something. Maybe 10-9-3, right? You got like nothing, right? Maybe some like backdoor possibility straight, but like it's so thin. So you have no draws, no backdoor equity. You don't need to like keep betting with you're gonna lose more chips over time like this. So, and worst hand rally call, as I said, you bet small, they float you, they can bluff you on turn, you can't do anything. Then better hands, when they call you, you're fucked, right? You don't know what to do. You're gonna insist continue barreling on the turn or what? Like you're gonna hit ace, and if you don't hit ace, like what you gonna do, right? So sometimes even if you hit ace, you bet you're gonna get caught by a better hand or set or whatever, right? So check more instead, preserve your stack, live to fight another hand. You don't need to like insist fight every pot, right? Poker is about every hand. Every time we have a new hand to play. We don't need to fight for every pot. We need to win this spot, so we can check often, right? So next slide. So when do you want to see bet out of position, right? So yeah, usually you want to see bet when you have, like example, like you have a jacks, right? Somebody open on the button, you 3-bet in the big blind, and they call, and flop is a low board, like I would say something like maybe 7-5 deuce, something like that, 7-5 deuce, and you have an overpair. Here you want to go for like a minimum 50% or larger. I go to 50 to 75, and it's fine. So you want to bet some huge size on the flop, and or example, you 3-bet like king queen suited or offsuit on the big blind, and you flop, the flop is like queen 7-3, really good board for your range. Even if you have ace king, you want to go for a small size or a check call or a check raise, because it's probably the best hand. So queen 7-3, you have top pair and a good kicker. King queen is pretty nutted on this board, so we will go for like a 1/3 sizing, or half pot is fine, but a standard range bet is fine. So you want to bet when you have something, or you have 2 pair better set or better. On example, you have like you 3-bet and it's like queen 10-5, right? You have like pocket 10, or you have like some, I don't think you have much the 2 pair, but example, you have set, or like you have some frequency of 10-8, you want to be betting. So we need to see our hand and the specific board. Another thing when you can see bet out of position is when you have like strong draw, so like flush draw with overcut. So you raise or you 3-bet right out of position, then you have like a flop is a 10-5, 10-5-9, but there's like 2 hearts, right? So you have like king queen of hearts, king jack of hearts, ace queen of hearts. This kind of board, at least you have equity. You can continue firing for a medium size bet or large bet. Actually, all 3 options is fine here. But if I want to fire here, I will go for like 50% or more, probably a large size, because I don't want, like, if I bet small, he float me and I don't hit the turn, like he's gonna. I prefer to take initiative and betting, so I'll go for a polarizing sizing on this kind of board. Or if you have open-ended straight flush, like you have a example, it's like a 10-9 deuce, and you have like it's a 2 flush card, so you have queen jack. So it's like 10-9 deuce 2 diamond, you have queen jack or diamond. Here you can go for a check raise, or you can just bet. Even a king queen of diamond, you can just bet large size, or half pot is fine when you have something. Or combo draw, flush plus straight, like what I mentioned, you have straight draw and flush draw, you can go for a bet or a check raise, is fine. So you want to bet when you have board texture advantage, board that favor your range, like dry disconnected texture, like I mentioned, like 7-5 deuce, rainbow, 8-6 deuce, 8-5-4. No, maybe not 8-5-4, like just like maybe 10-7-3, something like that. You can even use like hands like king queen, ace queen of diamond with the back door suited one. You can bet as a bluff, and if you get additional equity on the turn, you can continue bearing, or you can check call or check raise jam, it's fine. Or high cards when you raise please. So like if like a high card board, like a king 10 deuce, king queen 6, like all these high card, you can just go for a range bet. But try to make sure you have something, like if you have like a a7-3 here, you can like shut down. It's like you got nothing, right? So try to make at least when you have something, or when the range is favorable for you. So next slide. Alright, so you need to recognize like the bad boards. So like I say, I mentioned some good boards just now. So like now it's like bad boards like connected board, especially this like 6 of club, 5 of spade, 4 of spade, 6-5-4, right? 2-tone. create many straight draw, hard to protect hand. So this is what I mentioned before. Like if you fire small on this board, it's bad, right? Like if he raise you, right, you're not comfortable calling a big raise also, because he can have all the sets, 2 pair even straight, like a 7-8, right? 7-8. A lot of high equity draw here that can continue. So you want to check more often on this spot and see what he does. So if you check and if he go for a large, usually I will flat this board, but if the SPR is low, I will just check raise my hand and get it in. So mostly this kind of board is bad for you. You want to check, and because if you bet here, right, like you're not going for a small size, you want to go a big size. Then if you go for a big size, it's bad as well. When you get called, you're gonna be beaten, like a high equity hand or a strong hand that beats your value. So you want to check more and evaluate from here. You can check call or check raise if the SPR is low. So flush possible board often favors the caller range, like I mentioned, wet texture, because probably when you 3-bet, when they call you in position, mostly it's like all the like pocket pairs or a suited hand. Usually they don't call like offsuit varieties combo to your big blind raise, because you raise quite large, right? They want to play like a small suited hand. So flush possible often favor the caller range. So check response. This board warrant checking more often than betting. As I say, it's not good for you. You want to check more than you want to bet. When you raise with low cards, when you raise with big card, low board favor your range. Yeah, because you are having all the over cards, and king, queen, ace, king, ace, jack, ace, 10, and you have all the over pairs, of course. But when you raise with big cards, the low board that come out, either in the 3-bet pot or single raise pot, when you're out of position, you don't hit those range as hard as your opponent that are in position, calling you behind or calling your 3-bet squeeze from the big blind. So it's not bad for you, so you need to check more often. Okay, so like I said, it's okay to check fold here, like discipline. Top player knows when to surrender. We don't need to win every pot, you don't need to insist, right? Logic over emotion, this is very important. Like bad spots don't improve with stubbornness. So let's say you make like a mindless, you raise and then you got a block 6-5-3, right? And just say example, you didn't watch this video, so you make for like a large size and he call, then turn is like a brick, nothing complete. It's still a 6-5-4, even a 3 is bad for you, or a deuce. Then you continue firing without a plan, you don't have a like nothing, you just gonna fire. Like as long, maybe when you slow down and you realize it's a bad spot, maybe you make a mistake, you see bad, you can shut down. Like you don't need to insist and continue stacking your mistake with more mistakes. It's gonna be losing you more money and it's not good for your mindset, and you're gonna be tilted, right? So you just check, don't need to like insist the bad spot, don't need to insist the c-bet. We know when to check fold and give up. And we preserve chip for more profitable situation, like when you have backdoor, or when you really have a hand like a overpair on the board that you want to fire. You can get the stacks in, or you can check raise to get value. So you want to preserve chip for profitable situation, better opportunities, right? So like I say, many players feel compelled to fight for every pot. This mindset, it destroys your win rate, right? Strong players choose their battle wisely. I like that. Yeah, you need to be selective with a spot. You don't want to auto c-bet every spot. So this, I want you to drill this to your head. Be deliberate in your poker gameplay, especially when you're out of position, right? Because it's much more tricky to play for newer player, even for like more intermediate advanced player. So next slide. So advanced option, like I said, we can check raise. Like not favorable board for you, you can, or the SPR is 1-1. Sometimes even the board on a 10-9, 10-6 deuce or something, you have aces and SPR is less than 1, right? But I will still prefer betting. But I think aces is the hand, or aces and kings is the hand that we want to check raise or check call, but probably check raise because it's the SPR is low, right? So we want to let the opponent bet first. So we check, he think like we have ace high, we're gonna think they bet and we can jam them, or we can check call down because the SPR is really low, right? So choose wisely or check raise. Then if we have deep enough, we can even like check raise bluff with like backdoor possibility, right? So raise aggressive, yeah. So this raise aggressive 3 to 4x their back size work well. This one is like, if you're talking about 3-bet 4-bet board, like we don't think we have a chance to raise so big. I'm talking maybe like a single raise spot, like you sometimes you have backdoor possibility, or like a 2 overs backdoor possibility, you can check raise as a bluff. Or when you have a set or a two pair plus, on overpair, on good board, you can check and check raise and get value. Like play a 2 street game, you can jam on the turn. So example, like yeah, use on 9-6 street. Yeah, this one example here, you have like overs with a club, aces with a club, kings with a club. We can check sometime and check raise and try to get chips in and build a big juicy pot. So, and even here we can have bluffs lah, like ace 10 of clubs, or like ace queen, king queen of clubs as a check raise, or ace 7 of club. All these we can check raise, bluff and evaluate turn better than, or we can check call, is fine. So you need to choose the board texture wisely. Check raising turns your positional disadvantage into a weapon. It works best when you have a cap range but the pot hits your specific holding. Yeah, an example, like sometimes you find like this player, like he's a maniac, right? So you check when he always see bet. Then sometimes you can check raise with backdoor, or you can check more often to let him bet, induce bet, and you can check raise as a bluff or value. So it's a good weapon for aggressive leg player, like they like to barrel with air or nothing. You just want to check more often, check call or check raise. Yeah, so the turn and reverse strategy is on the flop. You want to see bet with equity draw or a real hand with equity or overpair. Then turn double barrel only when you gain equity or you have a strong value, like the board is run out, is clean, like you got like kings on 10 8 deuce. Turn is a deuce, like you can continue barring because you probably have the best hand, right? And you have high equity. Let's say you have here you have a queen jack of diamond on a 10-8 deuce, and you can check call, but what I'm saying that only bet the turn when you have like additional equity and out. Then you bet the turn if they call. Reverse shutdown unless you make your hand and you want to jam for value, or you have perfect bluff scenario, like the card is very good and you think this villain overfolded, you can go for like pull the trigger and all in. Like if not, you can just double barrel and check fold the river, or like give up the river. You don't need to win every pot. So review hand history to identify profitable barrel opportunity. Like you can ask me. I have a school community right now. It's in the links in the bio. You can ask me any question. You can post your hand review. I'll help you. You can DM me when I'm available. I will help you sort out your hands. I will give you advice. So if you want like free poker school study tips to improve your poker gameplay and become a better player, like join my school community right now. It's free, and I'll see you guys in my school.